Hey everyone, it's Steven from the Armed Gamer, and this is What's Brewing. What's Brewing is the live Armed Gamer writer podcast where we sit down and we talk about all the news for the week, and this week was big. It was all E3 shit. You should be excited because E3. With me in the call today is my web developer, Andrew. Andrew, say hi.
Hi, everybody.
Right, with me also is the editor for Armed Gamer, I guess other than myself, is Deborah. Deborah, say hi.
What up?
Much more tame. And also we have...
Tame, come on.
Also we have one of our regular writers, Dave. David.
Yo.
There we go. Also our latest writer, our newest writer. Everyone should give a big warm welcome and a hello to Sam Collett. Collett, say hello.
Hello.
This is mostly everyone who's done writing and stuff for the week, and we're just going to kind of go through, in order, I guess, what happened with E3. Let's talk about the individual conferences. So first up was the Bethesda conference, and this is the one I covered for this site. Bethesda rolled out a lot. This was their first big E3 conference ever, the one where they actually had their own stage, which was really, really cool. In my opinion, they started strong and just stayed that way, mostly. I mean, they started with Doom, and it was so good. It was just so much blood and gore, everything you could want Doom to be, and best of all, it was gameplay. So much gameplay throughout that entire thing. They also revealed their own modding tool that's going to come out alongside Doom, which is SnapMap, and that's going to be really cool. And then they introduced a few other things. They did a trailer for ESO, which fortunately they didn't spend too much time on because it just came out for the Xbox One and PlayStation 4, so there's only so much new content they could talk about. Though they did very much tease that the Dark Brotherhood is going to be the next expansion. They also introduced I don't know why, but there was a cinematic trailer for a mobile strategy card game called Elder Scrolls Legends. I don't know why.
Why would they do that?
No information on it
sounds
whatsoever.
interesting. They have the Elder Scrolls Online, and then Blizzard has World of Warcraft, and then Blizzard also has a card game called Hearthstone. So this could be their answer to that.
That's what I think they must have been going for. And it was obnoxious, and I don't know why. But then the big news came. Oh my god, the news that everyone was dying for, which was Fallout 4. Got so much information. We got gameplay. We got, there's going to be customization. You can build your own settlements and upgrade your own settlements. And, everything was cool. They revealed a mobile game for iOS. And then in 3 months, it's going to come out for Android. But a new mobile game.
And it wasn't a hoax this time. It was not a hoax this time.
And also, oh my god, they had the Pip-Boy edition. Like an actual fucking working Pip-Boy that you slide your phone into.
And you have a
Already
Pip-Boy
sold
app.
out.
Even saving the fact that it's like the, legit Pip-Boy you can get from Bethesda, the fact that you can operate your VATS and Pip-Boy stats on your phone while still playing the game is fucking awesome. Like, that was something I was not even expecting. Like, even the crafting system in there. Like, oh man, they took like the best parts of Skyrim, the best parts of Fallout, gave it color, and then rolled it out. Holy shit.
No, and it was so good too. I was so happy about all of that. And I could just go on and on about like all the cool stuff. Like you just should have seen me jumping for joy. And I actually pre-ordered the Pip-Boy edition. I very rarely pre-order games anymore, but
Pre-ordering is wrong.
But Pip-Boy.
Don't do that.
but I got a Pip-Boy.
I don't care.
So, all right, what did you guys think, Bethesda? What did all of you guys think of the conference?
Oh god, it's hard to keep up with the hype, to be perfectly honest. Actually, can I quote my favorite quote from Todd Howard?
Go for it.
In the world of entertainment... Oh wait, never mind. Wrong quote. On the notes.
In a world where entertainment entertains.
When he was talking about the app, right, when you put your iPhone into the Pip-Boy, as far as stupid gimmicks go, this is the best fucking one. It's like, he's invested in his project when he doesn't even care. Like, he just comes up on stage and he's like, you just need to get this. Like,
David, Deborah, what did you guys think of Bethesda and their conference this year?
I mean, I'm not the huge Fallout fan, so the big draw for me was, yes, Dishonored 2.
you know what? Dishonored 2 actually looks really appealing. I like their new aesthetic.
David, you're fired.
No, I'll rehire him. I will add him back onto the website. Like, that game looked dope.
No, it does, but Dishonored 2 does look amazing. The fact that you can play as Emily is a really cool idea, especially since you kind of watched her kind of develop a personality depending on how you played in Dishonored 1. I'd be really interested to see if that at all contributes, if you can like cross your save file over to Dishonored 2. I doubt that's going to be the case, but it'd be really cool to see if like that somehow affected anything.
That and the whole setting of being kind of like a colony of the initial land that you were in, like, it looks like a setting that I want to dick around in. Like, that's going to be fun.
Seriously, it looks like a South Africa, colonial South Africa kind of setting.
That and fucking Doom, man. Like, that was everything I wanted. Wasn't expecting a new Doom game, but that's everything I wanted. Just gratuitous violence, chainsaws, blood everywhere, retardedly large demons that are trying to murder you.
Dude, and you know, I can't lie. I got bored and decided to check out what was being said about the trailer, and apparently, like, you had a lot of people like Anita Sarkeesian flipping out that there was like Doom style violence.
Yo, honestly, if Anita Sarkeesian gets butthurt about a game, that makes me want to check it out even more.
Oh no, people harming each other.
Oh my god, no! She was like going on about like, how is this good? There's like someone got chainsawed in half. Like, yeah, no, it's a demon. It's cool. Like, it's literally just supposed to be an embodiment of evil that just got chainsawed in half. It's okay. It's fictional violence, gratuitous fictional violence. Like, holy shit, over the top, amazing shit.
It's like, have you seen a Doom game before? This has been going on since the 90s. This is what Jack Thompson got his panties in a bunch for before he got disbarred.
Yeah.
She never plays the games she complains about.
This is true. Now, one thing I did find spectacular, by the way, about the Doom trailer was that your character actually gets his arms ripped off and just beaten to death with them. Like, holy shit. And they confirmed, like, yeah, no, that's totally one of the ways you can die in the game.
I like how they said one of the ways you can die, which means there's more interesting ways that you can get dismembered in this game. I want to play this.
And honestly, that whole snap map feature looks really cool. I'm really excited about that.
Oh, the fact that they're adding those custom modding tools in, amazing. I want to see more of that.
It's exciting. So much cool stuff going on. And, you know, I guess let's go on kind of to the next conference, though. I mean, as much as I'd love to spend an entire episode talking about Bethesda's conference because they fucking nailed it.
It's your show, man. You can do whatever you want.
Let's move on to the next one. So the next big conference, I think, was, what, Microsoft, right? Yep, so Sam, why don't you kind of give us your general overview of what you thought about the Xbox presser.
Cool. Well, there was a lot of good stuff, a lot of bad stuff. I'm not like a super fan of either Sony or Microsoft, but mostly because of what they've been doing for the past few years. But Microsoft did unveil backwards compatibility. A lot of fans are elated about that, but in my personal opinion, we should be focusing on the fact that it should have come with the consoles to begin with. And another thing that jarred me about the Microsoft press conference is from the words of Phil Spencer, he said that they're anchored by first-party exclusives, which kind of drives home the point that they're not really interested in gamers as a whole, but more of just, I guess, proselytizing for their own console.
I kind of find that interesting. In your article, you came down very heavily against first-party exclusives.
I'm not a big fan of those because I have a PS4 and I have an Xbox 360 and I'm not a really big fan of either. But when I try to tell my friends about like Bloodborne, like I'm having a lot of fun playing it, and they can't play it on PC or Xbox One, it creates a divide. I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
I mean, I think Sony was like one of the big kind of, I guess, funders of Bloodborne. I mean, that was kind of their deal with it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like exclusives all the time because, of course, you know, it means we have to buy more consoles and stuff, but at the same time, if they don't run a lot of first-party exclusives on their systems, then what reason do we have to buy them?
I'm going to go ahead and kind of argue that first-party exclusives are a benefit because, in a way, they help differentiate the systems. If you're going to get a system, you're going to get it for a specific set of games, and if all the systems have all the games, why would you choose one system over the other? There are different approaches to that. Like, I love Nintendo because I can only get Splatoon and Mario and Monster Hunter and, you know, anything else on Nintendo consoles. And that really is one of the reasons why I'm happy to have a Nintendo. And either PS4 or Xbox One in the home. That's kind of what I would recommend aside from just straight up owning a PC these days. So, I mean, I can see why it's frustrating because it feels like you have to have all the systems if you want to play all the games. But I feel like, in a way, it's kind of better because it forces the companies to compete more, and competition is how we're going to get cooler shit as consumers.
It does promote competition, but I feel like the consoles should stand on their own merits rather than relying upon successful game franchises. Both points can be made, and that's a topic for another day.
Absolutely. But yes, let's get back to the Microsoft press conference. What did you think was one of the better, like, what did you like about it? What did you think they did well? What did you not like about it?
Well, it looks... Okay, I don't know if this is true for PS4. I wasn't at the Sony press conference, but for Fallout 4, there's going to be... any mods that go on PC are going to come to Xbox One, which is great for Xbox One owners because PC owners have created a ton of mods for Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas, which completely alter the game state. What else do we have? We have a ton of great trailers. Even though they may be exclusive, there was a Sea of Thieves was developed by Rare, and that looks like a really fun game. I don't know how many players it supports, but it's like an online multiplayer pirate simulator, which I pretty much always wanted. I didn't get a chance to play Black Flag, but this looks really promising. Did you guys get a chance to see that?
I had not seen that, but I mean, multiplayer pirates, come on.
It's great.
Gonna be,
it's got ship combat and everything. It's awesome.
It's going to be like Arcade without all the douchebag hackers.
Sea of Thieves did look really cool, and that I will say that I was slightly disappointed that Microsoft didn't spend more time talking about the indies that they've been trying to boost. Like they showed like small little trailers for things, but it was just kind of in a montage way. So I feel like they could have done more to showcase those indies, especially since I know they're pushing really hard to get those kinds of games out. I just wish they had spent more time on the indies, and for the most part, I'm really glad that they focus on gameplay a lot and focus on the trailers and the games. But I don't know why they still had to fucking roll out. What kind of car was that for the Forza game?
Like,
I don't know. It's like just really fleshy sports car. I could probably look it up, but
that
was
doesn't
so
matter what
random.
kind.
You just
Like-
dropped it down and picked it back up without even mentioning it.
Yeah, no, they're just like, oh, it's a car in the game. I don't know, it was just weird as hell. Did any of you other guys watch the Microsoft press conference?
I just caught like little bits and pieces of it. I saw a few of the things that we linked on our articles and stuff, but
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Did you guys
I
see the
couldn't find
HoloLens?
see the who?
The HoloLens? There's the Minecraft demonstration.
Oh yeah, where Minecraft's going more Lego, Lego's going more Minecraft. I mean, it looked interesting. I'm skeptical.
About,
I don't know if that's really the world that I wanted to try to truly immerse myself into in that way.
I don't think what they showed was actually what the final product is going to look like. I don't even think that they showed the product actually working. I feel like that was just trickery to kind of give us an idea of what it's supposed to be. So, I don't know. We'll see. But let's go ahead and move on to the next press conference, though, because I think we got all the good stuff out of this. Ubisoft. Deborah, this one was one you covered. What did you like? What did you not like? Give us the overview.
Well, the conference itself was pretty weird, actually.
How so? What happened?
Well, it was mostly the host that was kind of off because her jokes weren't funny. Nobody was laughing at her jokes.
To be fair, it was Aisha Tyler, and this happens every year, without fail.
This is
Aisha
the first time
Tyler.
I've actually seen her, though, and I was like, oh, cool, it's her.
It's the voice
And
of
then I was
Lana.
like, yeah, and I was like,
What?
"Oh, way funnier as a fictional character."
Yeah, no, she gets up on stage is like, dick jokes. That's what they want. They just want dick jokes.
Ubisoft, thanks for trying.
And it was obvious when she was trying to transition to something else and see if that worked, but none of it worked and nobody laughed.
It kills me because I know she is like actually a gamer. She is a huge nerd. She has a replica of the Lancer from Gears of War, the big fucking chainsaw machine gun. She has that. She owns one of them. Like, she is a humongous nerd, but she gets up on stage and just like every year she just flops because.
To be fair, she has to talk about Ubisoft.
This is true. This is
True. Ubisoft always has.
I really
Fucking-
like what they try to do, but it's just like I know you guys. I've seen what you've done in the past, and I've seen you fuck up hard.
Oh, okay. Anyone know who Jason Derulo is?
Jason Derulo?
I've heard the name. I
Pop
can't
Isn't he like
singer.
some kind of performer?
Yeah, basically they brought him in for a live performance to advertise one of the games, the Just Dance 2016.
I do not know who that is. I honestly could not place him.
Yeah, I remember the name, but I've never heard him before, and apparently he can't sing, is what I'm seeing. But anyway, okay, so the first game was South Park: The Fractured But Whole. That was surprisingly the very
Fractured
first
But
thing
Whole?
they brought out.
So is that going to be a direct sequel to The Stick of Truth then?
I don't know if it's going to be a direct sequel, but
It's
it definitely plays off the same story.
It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, same characters, same humor.
I love The Stick of Truth.
And that was a game that like absolutely embodied the spirit of South Park, just being that over the top and ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly.
And it like was like you're playing an episode, and I thought that just that art style was amazing.
Yeah,
If they can recreate that, that'd be all the better.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. They were trying. The South Park game had been in development for years and years and years and years because they were trying to capture like what South Park was. And I think Matt Stone and Trey Parker were not going to let anything get put out unless people could play it and be like, yeah, this is South Park. And just,
so
Like,
good.
the funniest thing was when Trey Parker and Matt Stone came up on stage and had these shit-eating grins on their faces. It's like they were the first ones and they knew it.
yeah. No, I mean, it's so good. But what else was there?
The other one was For Honor. It's like a totally new game. Basically, you're getting up close and personal with melee combat. You play as a samurai, a Viking, or a knight. And basically, the gist of it is you're in a battle and you're fighting as one of your men. I don't know if he's the general or whatever, but you're in the thick of the battle. It was really cool to watch.
So is that you're hopeful for that one then?
Yeah, honestly, I am. It's kind of a new thing.
Yeah, for me it looked like Chivalry but prettier.
I'm okay with that.
I am totally cool with that.
What else was there?
There was The Crew and there was Trials Fusion, both of them racing games. I'm not really into the whole racing game scene, so I will just say that the trailers were interesting. Not really much you can say about racing games because they're kind of the same thing. Even though Trials Fusion was the weirdest one where they had like a gunslinging kitten riding a flaming unicorn. It's one of those things you'll just have to watch.
But all right, what about Tom Clancy's Division? This is something that I know really like got a lot of attention last year. What more did we find out about this? Because we didn't see it in like the Sony presser like we normally would.
Okay, basically the general premise is a disease was spread on Black Friday that caused a government collapse in the United States over the course of 5 days, and it threw the world into a post-apocalyptic sort of world where everyone's just trying to survive. You have the option to group up or to survive through this environment alone. And you can leave your group at any time. You can betray people at any time. There's no warning. It's just kind of dog eat dog out there.
So did they show any gameplay, or was it all just cinematics?
They showed the multiplayer, the Dark Zone multiplayer part of it, and it was actually a pretty dramatic, kind of suspenseful little gameplay snippet.
So you hopeful for that one? You think it's gonna be good?
Yeah, actually I am.
Now, what about Anno 2205 though?
SimCity in space.
Wait,
Yeah, that's basically it. You're just trying to build up a city from the ground up and keep your people happy, except it's in a futuristic society and you get to go to planets and stuff.
oh wow.
I'm down with that.
Yeah.
I think the last Anno game had like some combat elements too, but
Yeah, it kind of did.
The trailer for this one didn't show a whole lot of what we'd be actually playing. It just kind of did like an overview of the world, like I said, a SimCity sort of thing.
I mean, yeah, it looks interesting still.
All right, what else? Let's kind of go through the rest of this real fast so we can get everyone else's opinions on Ubisoft stuff. And
Yeah, there's Just Dance. That's the collaborative dancing thing, and there's new technology behind it this time. You can use your cell phone instead of using the camera on your console, and that pretty much allows you to put as many people into the game as you want. They had like entire crowd of people on stage doing it. For the next one, it's Rainbow Six Siege, starring Angela Bassett. You're in a anti-terrorism unit. It's kind of like a Call of Duty game.
mm-hmm.
I won't go too much into that. There's also Trackmania, and that's another racing game. It's kind of cartoony, kind of childlike, but it's got kind of trippy tracks, like sort of like Rainbow Road and Mario Kart.
Basically, like those original Trackmania games turned up to 11.
Yeah.
It's always a good time.
Then the second to last one, surprisingly, was Assassin's Creed Syndicate. I'm pretty sure we all know about that. It's set during the Industrial Revolution. You're supposed to be freeing the people of London from a gang through whatever means necessary.
I will say, apparently this year they actually listened to Kotaku's bitching and added a female assassin that you get to play as.
But the thing with that is, most of the time you'll be playing as the guy, but we don't tell people that. That makes no sense.
Of course that's gonna happen. They just don't want anyone to know. They're gonna wait till the game comes out, be like, oh yeah, no, why did you expect anything else?
God.
Okay, last one is Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon. That one is a military shooter, another Call of Duty-esque kind of thing. The trailer I actually really, really liked. It was really brutal, had a really good voiceover, and the end was actually great. That's about it for Ubisoft.
Biggest winner, biggest loser of Ubisoft.
I think biggest loser would have to be Just Dance, because Just Dance appeals to a very specific niche, whatever how you pronounce that, of people. It's mostly a party game. It's not really one that you would hype up all that much. But I think the best would have to be Assassin's Creed, because that had the best trailer in my opinion.
Let's hope the faces render correctly this time.
Yeah, so it's not a buggy fucking mess like the last one was.
It's like I want to like so many Ubisoft games, but then you get them on launch and it's just like, oh look, you have eyeballs and mouth and nothing else, and it's fucking cracked out.
The next big press event was, I want to say, Electronic Arts. Guess we kind of went out of order on that one technically, but whatever. This is the order the shit was published in. EA, this is the one that I kind of watched and covered, and I'm going to have to say their press event was kind of a mixed bag for me. On the one hand, they committed so many press conference sins. They had stupid shit on stage for no reason, like they had Pele on to talk about FIFA. Like, as awesome as Pele is, like,
What are you doing here?
like, why are you on the stage getting interviewed at E3? Like, I don't know, that killed me. Then they also had so they had just shown a really great kind of almost heartfelt trailer for the game Unravel. And it looks like it's going to be a really cool indie game, really emotional. And then you start hearing Danger Zone playing. And then, like, the stage starts, like, flashing and, like, lighting up. And then, like, a mascot dressed like a superhero zombie from Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2 walks up on the stage, starts doing fucking poses, and no one reacts in the audience. It was just silence. And it was just the most awkward-looking thing ever. I don't know why EA thought that was a good idea. It just...
So this sounds like it was low-key Ubisoft.
Yes, it was like the most cringe-worthy moment ever. But on the other hand, EA did show a lot of really cool stuff, a lot of gameplay, especially for Star Wars Battlefront, which is something that I know a lot of people are really excited about for EA. They showed like the multiplayer, how that's going to look, and I'm of mixed feelings about that. On the one hand, it looks phenomenal. It looks like it's going to be a gorgeous game. But it's based off Titanfall's gameplay, not Battlefield's, like the previous two titles were.
Which I don't know how I feel about that. The fact that like Battlefield is definitely getting away from its roots. If you've like heard anything about Hardline or played Hardline, if you look at the statistics for players, especially on PC, of Hardline versus Battlefield 4, Battlefield 4 is still crushing Hardline, just because it went away from the entire core of the Battlefield experience, which was a large open combat zone where you could pretty much do whatever you want. And I was kind of hoping that the Star Wars game would kind of go back to that, but I hear the walkers are on rails, it's 24v24, it's scripted battles, and especially the gameplay trailer, like, you're in a situation where you're not going to find in a multiplayer, like, you see a group of 4 enemies chilling around a checkpoint, like, that's not going to happen. You're not going to be able to get those easy kills with a walker. So, it looks pretty, it's definitely a cool concept, but I gotta see what it looks like, at least when it comes into beta.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. I think it's gonna be like what 4v4 battles. I mean, it looks so pretty though. Like
It looks amazing.
one thing I've heard is that the vehicles are on rails, and that makes me nervous.
Only the I know the AT-ATs are on rails, the AT-STs are not, and also it's a weird situation with flying, where you get it as a perk or something, and then you crouch in a corner and hope you don't get beamed in the head and die, and fly around for a while. But I don't know. For a Battlefield or a Battlefront game, what I really want is just large open combat where you can basically do whatever you want. And that's not been happening in the past couple of games.
That was kind of disappointing to me, honestly. But I mean, moving on to the other games that they showed, they had Need for Speed, and they showed a little bit of the gameplay for that. And one thing I thought that was fucking cool that they did for there was when you're in the garage, it was like live action footage and then seamless transition into customizing the car. And I thought that was actually fucking really impressively done. I really enjoyed that. And, you know, if you're a fan of racers, it's going to be like all sorts of crazy customization. You're doing your crazy tricks, you earn points, standard Need for Speed gameplay. Looks like it's going to be good for any fans. There was also Mirror's Edge Catalyst. They revealed a whole bunch of gameplay for that, and it looks shiny. I'm going to be interested to see what's going on. The story is a prequel to the original Mirror's Edge. Yeah, so it's all about how Faith kind of rose up to be who she is, I guess, in the original. So that's gonna be interesting. The gameplay still looks shiny as shit, though. And then also, I kind of briefly touched on this earlier. The game Unravel looks fascinating to me. You play essentially as a yarn character, and you're just kind of using yarn to tie the level together in such a way as to get to the other side of things or to accomplish whatever goal, and there are different little tricks you can do with a yarn. And the whole thing actually looks really kind of heartwarming and touching the way that it's presented, and I'm definitely going to be really interested to see how that is when it comes out. Have you guys seen the trailer for that at all?
Watching it right now.
Yeah, and I definitely glossing over it. It kind of reminded me a lot at first, like Pikmin. Kind of you're tiny, everything is huge, run around, try to accomplish things. But yeah, I don't know a whole lot about it, but I definitely want to see where it goes.
I think it's really funny that the internet's just kind of starting to worship this yarn guy and his creator.
Oh, internet.
Oh yes. Oh,
We love yarn.
Also, we saw a true cinematic trailer for Mass Effect Andromeda, which is essentially Mass Effect 4. We know nothing about it. We don't even know who the main character is. It's Shepard, but they're leaving us guessing who the main character is. It's Shepard. So we really just have to wait for Shepard to be revealed as Shepard. Honestly, that's
Can't pull the wool over our eyes.
no. We all know who it is. We all know exactly what that's about. So I will say, all in all, EA's conference was such a mixed bag. Like, there's some really good things. They spent an hour talking about the sports games, and
Well, then again, you got to admit, EA's bread and butter is definitely FIFA in terms of revenue generators for EA. FIFA kills it in every market but the US.
well, I mean, they pretty much hold the license for the NFL games, the FIFA games.
Yeah.
They tried really hard with baseball. I don't think they got it. They tried really hard with basketball, but they don't have it because of 2K games. So, I mean, they're trying, but sports fucking kills it for them.
Yeah. And especially in terms of sports games, if you want to play a baseball game, you want to play a football game, it's it's a pretty good bet. They're not bad. If you're into that sort of thing, you're a fan of sports, you could do worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know. What did you guys think of the EA press conference?
I'm right there with you. It's good and bad. It's up and down.
I will be forever disappointed in EA press conferences until we see a proper sequel to Battlefield 2142.
Absolutely, my friend. I could not agree more.
Let's gonna be honest. That's not gonna happen. It's gonna be Battlefield Hardline in space.
Oh, Christ.
But of course.
It's gonna be space cops and robbers.
I want to see a proper World War II Battlefield game. 64 v 64, open world campaigns, Awesome customization.
man.
That's the game I want to see, man.
Have you guys heard of Tripwire's Red Orchestra Rising Storm?
Yeah.
Those are great for like World War II combat. I'm not even kidding. It's 32v32, and it's just hectic insanity.
Yo, man, I've been getting into Heroes and Generals, which is actually like just the games you're playing, like the skirmishes and matches, but it all takes place in an entire other world controlled by generals. So the combat you go into is actually part of a larger theater. It's pretty cool how the whole game kind of fits together.
Yeah, I've got to check that one out.
It's in beta and it's free.
Woo! But I let's move on to the last press conference for that day, which was Sony. And holy shit, by the end of that one, you could just drown a baby in my panties. Like, it was so many things that I wanted.
Too much information, Steve.
Oh, like
My viewers are cringing right now.
I know, but God, they led off with The Last Guardian. Like, gameplay footage of The Last Guardian.
I was
Like-
like, yo, what's that puppy doing? Oh, that's a big puppy.
yeah, like
Puppy with wings, and holy crap. That's just,
I
I felt great for
wanted
them to
that.
come out of
Okay,
hiatus.
see, I don't want The Last Guardian to be a thing, but I still want it to be a thing. I'm gonna feel horrible that it's a thing.
are you just convinced that it's going to ruin everything?
Yes.
You know, I always gotta appreciate Sony for like the concepts that you're like, there's no way that could be a thing. There's some drunk dude at Sony HQ approving the most random ideas that people come up with. Like, I want to make a game where there's a gigantic puppy-looking bird. And he's like, okay.
Well, I mean that.
And that moves this shit forward, man.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, that company just comes out with these really games that you would never think would actually be games or even greenlit. Like, I'm going to make a game. What we're doing is you climb these 7 giant fucking things, and then you kill them. Or, like, I'm going to make a game where you call out to a girl and lead her around, like, ah!
Or it's like, no, dude, we're going to make a game. We're going to call it Final Fantasy, and then we're going to make, like, 15 of them.
Never stop.
And never stop making them.
Remake all of them.
Speaking of which, big announcement that fucking everyone's been waiting for because Square Enix just, I guess, didn't want to make money until now. Final Fantasy VII Remake officially announced, and it's going to be a true remake.
You know there's some box in the back of Squeenix headquarters, be it like, in case of financial emergency, break glass for FF7 Remake.
Exactly. Well, they're going to be doing it, I think, it's for 2017. It's going to be the 20th anniversary of the Final Fantasy VII launch in the US. It looks really fucking cool, and
It looks amazing, but I'm still going to rip on him.
they have confirmed that the cross-dressing scene is going to remain.
My mind's telling me no, but my body is telling me yeah.
I think they even showed like a screen grab of what it's going to look like. I don't know where that is, but
That's called owning it right there.
yeah, they're just like, it's going to happen, which is going to be really interesting to see how the current political climate around games is going to react to that.
Waiting for the angry tweet from Anita Sarkeesian.
There are going to be so many. But, oh my god. So, they only showed cutscenes. They didn't show anything about gameplay, which is perfectly okay with me if they're just doing an announcement. Normally, I'm a stickler for I want gameplay. But we kind of already know what Final Fantasy VII's gameplay is going to be like, even if they said they are going to tweak it and evolve it slightly. But you could see the fucking materia slots in Cloud's Buster Sword. And that just made me happy, man. The other really big announcement that everyone has been clamoring for was Shenmue 3. They launched the Kickstarter project on stage. And that was really cool.
If you had told me before that announcement that was ever going to be a thing, I would have been like, no fucking way. That's never going to happen. Shenmue 3, bullshit. And there it is, Shenmue 3.
It was funded in under 12 hours.
Damn straight.
As I was writing the article, I was watching the ticker go up. Like, I started writing the article, it was at, I think, $600,000 raised. I got to writing about it, it was at $840,000 raised. I finished it, it had passed $1 million.
Now it's at what, 3.5?
Yeah, something like that. It is a ridiculous amount.
I'm really happy for, especially like Shenmue. I mean, I remember playing that on the Dreamcast back in the day, and being like compared to games of that era, that was definitely like pushing the technological envelope. Like the shit you could do in that game, just the random like everyday BS was amazing. And the fact that they're recreating it is, I'm all for that.
Yeah, I'm so thrilled that we're gonna be seeing more of that, and like it's kickstarted too. So I hope that means something good. Hopefully.
I mean, the trailer definitely it's pushing the envelope. Like the textures of the world look good, but the facial animations look little dated, so I'm hoping they're using that 3.5 million to maybe do some better mocap.
Two other trailers that they showed that I don't know, I didn't care that much about. They showed the Destiny the Taken King trailer, which, I mean, it's Destiny, it's not a terrible game, but it's just a meh one to me, and I just couldn't get excited about an expansion to that game. And also they showed the Batman Arkham Knight trailer, which, I mean, looked like a fucking cool trailer, but I'm going to be playing the game next week. So, you know, showing me a trailer for that now, I mean, sure, it might get them a few extra sales, but I don't care. Like, I already know all about it. But then they showed Horizon Zero Dawn as well. And that game looks fucking amazing.
You mean cavemen versus robot dinosaurs?
Yes, that one.
I'm all for that concept.
It was
Yeah.
exciting. I'm not
I
sure how it's
saw
going
it.
to turn out, though.
And I'm hoping for good things.
Yeah,
I-
I'm hoping for good things, too.
I'm hoping what we saw was actual gameplay and not like just pre-scripted bullshit. Because that looks like it could be super fun. Like,
That part was probably pretty scripted, or at least somewhat linear, but I imagine the real world's going to be a little bit more expansive than that, because looking out, you can see that they were showing us like cities and skylines and everything, and I imagine you're going to be fighting T-Rexes in the streets of an abandoned city, and that sounds pretty badass.
yeah, dude, it looks really just. I really appreciate that concept. I think it's actually relatively inventive. I haven't really seen any other similar game to that, or at least that kind of take on a post-apocalypse. And then they also showed a gameplay demo of No Man's Sky.
It's a cool concept, and it's been in the works for fucking ever.
Yeah.
Just release it, roll with it. Like it's gonna do well. Just get on with it.
I like the art direction behind it and the idea and the
It
way
looks pretty as hell, and I love the color palette they chose. I love the whole like exploring space aspect of it. I'm cool with that. Just get on with it.
Yeah, and then also like the chibi Final Fantasy game, World of Final Fantasy. It caught my attention, but we'll see.
We called it Final Fantasy, but we made 15 of them.
Technically, they made more than 15 if you count all the other products. I mean, there's Final Fantasy Legends, Final Fantasy Legends 2, both of which came out for the Game Boy. It's Final Fantasy Tactics.
I've never owned a PlayStation. I get where Final Fantasy games are coming from, but it's just like I do not get the numbering system, and
I never have.
God,
No one gets the
damn,
numbering
I
system
don't
anymore.
understand this concept.
They make it up as they go along.
Oh, it's the Final Fantasy. We make shitloads. Ha ha ha.
Yeah. Oh god, they also showed Sony. I think was the only one who really showed any Call of Duty footage for.
New bluffs. No.
Oh my god, new Black Ops 3. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. No, I don't give a fuck.
Dude, if you go back and play like Call of Duty like 1 or 2 or even like World at War, it's like I hate where these games went, and I miss the old ones so much.
Yeah.
No bueno, dude. No bueno.
No bueno. There was no bueno to be had.
Remember United Offensive, man? There were tanks. It was open world. Come on. What happened to you, man? Basically, right now it's just an ATM.
Pretty much.
Yo, anybody like 12 to 18, they're like, yo, if we want a couple $100 million, just like put another one out.
And they do it every year.
Yo, honestly, if I had like an easy avenue to get a couple $100 million every year, just make another like reskin of Call of Duty, like I'd totally be doing that. Like I see where they're coming from, but it's not the game I want to play.
Also, they showed Uncharted 4 at the press conference, and
That demo where the guy was just staring at the crowd for like a good solid 20 seconds.
oh, that was hilarious. Where like it was the demo, and then just Drake was standing there because I guess the controller didn't sync with the PlayStation, so he was just like, what do I do? Completely restart the demo.
But hey, Uncharted. I've never gotten into that series. I've heard good things though.
Honestly, I was really happy with it. All in all, I was really happy with the Sony presser. They showed a whole lot of gameplay, a lot of new IPs. I think
You gotta appreciate Sony for taking the risks.
yeah. Also, one thing they mentioned that was really cool is the PlayStation View, I think it's called, which is they're going to be rolling out a TV service, like a Sony PlayStation TV service that is channels a la carte. So you aren't buying bundles, you are subscribing to individual channels that you want to watch. So no more like, yeah, I want to watch ESPN, but I gotta buy Telemundo with it.
Don't you want to watch soccer in Spanish?
No.
Yo, dude, watch the World Cup with Spanish subtitles. Or no, Spanish voice.
Commenters.
It's
Okay.
so much better.
That much more exciting?
They get into
Oh,
it
it
so
really
much more.
is.
World Cup, man. Wait for the World Cup.
All in all, though, like I thought that was a really interesting announcement. We'll see how it turns out. They kind of somewhat teased the Project Morpheus, but didn't really go into too much detail or gameplay on that one. So I think Microsoft definitely killed it on the VR side of things. We'll see what Sony eventually unveils. But I guess let's move on to the only other press conference we wrote about, which was the Square Enix press conference. David, take this one away.
I mean, this is the one I really kind of watched and focused on because I was really hoping for some Final Fantasy 15 news. We didn't get any. But no, they came out with like a lot of good stuff. Like Just Cause 3 looks really good. One of the things they were kind of showing off was just how maneuverable you are. So, you know, like they've added the wingsuit that gives you a little bit better. You've got excuse me, grappling hooks. They're, you know, working tons of explosions. It's kind of, you know, keeping you in that Mediterranean area. Looks fun. Looks fun. They did a lot with like it was kind of like, you know, the more European and American companies did a lot of things were recognized with, like we're getting a new Tomb Raider with Rise of the Tomb Raider. They showed us that in the Microsoft conference, so we got a little of the behind the scenes on how they modeled Laura. But they also showed us that there's going to be Tomb Raider Go, which, so, you know, we're getting kind of a more distilled and a lighter Tomb Raiding adventure. But I mean, you know, there's dragons and it looks different enough that I might actually be interested in it, even though it's a mobile game. Near the end of it, we got to see, just kind of, you know, dividing it between our East and West here. Hitman reboot. New Hitman is just Hitman, no italics or everything. Game looks kind of incredible. I mean, I just watched the gameplay trailer and thought it looked great. They're really doing kind of like trying to make a living world with it. So you've got contracts that, you know, you can put into the contracts mode. There's targets that will pop up every now and then for a limited time, and you have one shot ever to kill them.
But will you get rewarded for killing strippers and posing them provocatively? Because that's what Hitman is all about.
You know, we'll see. We'll see. It could happen.
Hey man, if you get extra points for it, I'm down.
Between that, there's also Deus Ex Mankind Divided is, you know, we get to see a little bit about that. It
Yep.
looks really good. One of the big things they talked about is how people thought in Human Revolution combat wasn't as viable of an option as the stealth and other aspects. So they put a lot of focus into making sure the combat's up to par in this one. That's running on a new engine called the Dawn engine. Looks really fun. I think probably the most interesting thing I saw in the trailer was they send, you know, Jensen in and just his body goes just black polygons and armor kind of cover him, and he goes into this weird, like, you know, tank man mode for a little bit.
So I was going to say, Boots to the Max and in chat did mention something really cool about the Hitman games, which is that all the DLC will be coming out for free on it.
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
That is definitely nice.
Yeah, that I thought that is really cool, and Boots just reminded me of that. So awesome. But yes, all right, continue on. Deus Ex.
I mean, they've kind of built off of the events of the last game, so the cyborgs, the augmented people as they were, are now kind of frowned upon by people. They're putting them in ghettos and internment camps. So you've got to deal with the social aspect with it, just like most Deus Ex games do.
Yeah, and there's a robot apartheid.
Oh yeah.
That's the exact term they're using for it, which has gotten them into shit because apparently you're not allowed to mention that word, which is robots.
We can't talk about apartheid anymore?
No, apparently not. Like, if you mention that there's another apartheid than the South African one, you're racist. Something. Yes, just full blown racist. Like, you just, I don't know.
Out of the internet's realm of oversensitivity. One of the games I was surprised to see is Square Enix announced a sequel to Nier, to which I always thought that was a kind of a smaller one-off thing and we weren't going to see anything else from it. I never even played it because it just didn't really look like my thing, but we're getting a new Nier. They didn't give us many details on it, just a little trailer. Even the subtitle for the game is a complete secret.
You know what? I never played Nier. What's that game about?
See, they didn't even kind of touch on what the game was about at E3. They
Huh.
just said, like, we're making a new one. Is everyone excited? And, I mean, they got a little bit of response. I mean, clearly the game did well enough to merit a sequel. But,
Yeah.
I mean, for something that a lot of people missed, it's really interesting to see how, they've decided to expand on that. So I might end up going to check it out. If I can remember where I put my PlayStation. Moving into, the one thing everyone was kind of interested in, there was Kingdom Hearts news.
Oh, thank God.
They sent out, I think it's Shinji Hashimoto, kind of the executive producer, just massively kind of bait and switching and trolling the audience because he goes out there and announces him, I want to show you a trailer, and the first thing he shows us is the FF7 trailer from the day before. So everyone's still really excited, but they're like, okay, what's going on here? And he talks about how the FF7 PC port is coming to PS4 and it's going to be coming to iOS, which, interesting, but she said Kingdom Hearts. So pulls up another trailer, everyone gets really excited, and it's a trailer for Kingdom Hearts Unchained, which has like the mobile art style for like the Android re-releases of like Final Fantasy VI and stuff. Not really attractive.
Oh, come on, really?
Kingdom Hearts Unchained, a new mobile game tying into Kingdom Hearts 3. So people are still sitting there, but they finally show off the Kingdom Hearts 3 trailer, and it's glorious. Because just the worlds look huge. Some of it I thought, like, this looks like you're on fucking Pulse from FF13, because it's just so wide, so massive, and there's so much going on. Sora's, fighting combat very slick. There's
Excellent.
new summons. We all wanted to see those, of course. So one of the ones is... I think the Pegasus and Chariot from Hercules, which looked really great, and there was also one where there's a massive train swooping in, and it's just all rendered. It looks really beautiful, and of course it's going to look even twice as good to us because we haven't seen a Kingdom Hearts game on a console since PS2. I think I was in high school when that game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like just starting college when Kingdom Hearts 2 came out. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how this is going to look on the PlayStation 4.
We haven't seen Kingdom Hearts on a console in a very long time, and
Yeah.
it's really open with the Master Xehanort and Master Ericus from the Birth by Sleep game. Kind of, it's a younger version of them discussing the Keyblade Wars and the war between light and darkness.
And how many times do they fucking re-release those games? Because there was like Kingdom Hearts, then Kingdom Hearts 2, then Kingdom Hearts 1.5, and then like card games and weird shit on the mobile, like on the I guess mobile platforms like the DS. Like, holy shit, they released everything but an actual true fucking sequel.
And that's the thing that really does kind of have me worried about the game, because, I mean, while we're all going to be really excited for Kingdom Hearts 3, you could go into Kingdom Hearts 2 without having played Chain of Memories. It kind of summed everything up for you, and you got a little bit of story, as you started the game.
Mm-hmm.
Since Kingdom Hearts 2, we've had Birth by Sleep, which is kind of the origin of the story. We've had the coded games. We've had 358 by 2 divided by 2, however the hell you pronounce that, over 2, which kind of tells you a little bit more about Roxas and his time in the organization. We had, what's the 3DS one? Dream Drop Distance or something?
Something like that, yeah.
which that one's the one kind of setting up Kingdom Hearts 3 with what the true Organization 13 really is, and it's just every game that they've put out has been kind of on a different console. I mean, there's been a DS game, a PSP game, mobile games, 3DS games, and it just kind of makes me wonder, are people going to have a clue what's going on in this game when they finally get back into Kingdom Hearts 3, and they're just, oh, no, I haven't played the 5, 6 spin-offs that apparently all had essential elements of the plot in it.
Yeah, I feel like somewhere along the lines we're gonna have to find some way to properly sum it up. I mean, I guess moving on from Kingdom Hearts 3, what else did they show there, though?
The other two things that were announced were we're getting a new Star Ocean game, which I'm really excited about.
Is it gonna be an MMO?
No.
God damn it! No, I don't care.
But it's Star Ocean Integrity and Faithlessness, because they wanted to make it a mouthful.
Shit. I'm sure in Japanese that's like 2 syllables. But motherfucker.
One of the big things they wanted to do and they talked about is they wanted to show a sense of seamlessness in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So they showed gameplay footage to where you go straight into combat without loading scenes. They wanted to mention that we have dynamic cutscenes taking place, and they wanted to break the stereotype of JRPGs having 20 minutes of gameplay and then 15 minutes of a cutscene.
Mhm.
Which, Star Ocean The Last Hope, I mean, it kind of got that way, where I would sit there and watch the game for 45 minutes after I beat a world because there was so much cutscene stuff.
So they went the Metal Gear Solid style.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like that's what they're going to do. They didn't show off a lot of cutscene things in the gameplay.
Okay.
But everything's very fluid, very seamless, and I mean, I'm always a fan of the real-time combat in an RPG. So if you're looking for a story that branches away from the Tales of series but still plays the same, Star Ocean kind of can do that for you. But they closed it off bringing the president of Square Enix out, to which everyone, this is where we thought, okay, if you're the last guy, you have to be telling us about some Final Fantasy 15 news. But what he actually announced is a new studio called Tokyo RPG Factory. And he says, we really want to focus on making, Japanese RPGs that everyone loves, so we're doing this.
That name does not give me hope. Like, I don't want RPGs to come out of a factory. I want my RPGs well crafted.
Yeah. But we got
The
two
bespoke
pieces.
RPG factory.
We got 2 pieces of artwork, and they're announcing a completely new IP called Project Setsuna. To which, I mean, whenever Square announces a new IP, we always have kind of mixed feelings about it, but Bravely Default went really well, so I've got hopes for this one.
Yeah, well, fingers crossed. Next up, let's talk about Nintendo. Did you guys see the Nintendo presser at all?
I saw
Little
like
bit.
the last 15 minutes of it.
Yeah, so Nintendo bombed this year. No better way to put it. Nintendo flat out last year they killed it. They did Robot Chicken for the interludes. It was hilarious. This year they went for they did Muppets, and I think they actually had Jim Henson Workshop involved, which I mean it was just weird. And then they announced the new Star Fox game, Star Fox Zero, and it looks cool as hell. Like that actually looks really cool. That got me excited. But then they spent so much time talking about Mario Maker, which not a bad idea, but it's not really a big thing in my opinion. It could be cool to see what gamers come up with, but it's not that important to me. And then they also showed Metroid. A new Metroid game, which just looks fucking terrible.
I did not see the new Metroid thing. What's the style on this one that's going to make it so bad?
It's like a super... It's like kind of like an arena shooter, like multiplayer arena shooter, kind of like just everyone is like in their own little mini Metroid suit, and it looks bad.
So is this like a Wii U version of the Prime?
It's for the 3DS.
Oh, 3DS. Oh, well, I mean, on the DS, one of the launch titles was the Prime Hunters kind of multiplayer shooter.
No, this isn't that. This is worse, infinitely worse. You remember years ago that Bomberman reboot where they tried to make him dark and edgy? It's kind of like that. Not looking forward to that at all. And yeah, there isn't even Samus in the trailer or anything. Like, you don't see Samus for a second. It's just Metroid in name only, and bad. They did show a new Xenogears game coming out, which got a lot of people excited. Seems to be really cool. Then they spent way too much time on fucking like Animal Crossing. They have a new Yoshi's Yarn game coming out, which actually does look cool. And then like they showed almost no gameplay of like anything else. Everything else is just little trailers for their third-party titles and nothing that exciting. And they just bombed it completely.
Well, that's fun. Always what we want to hear about.
Yeah, I've not heard anyone say they were at all excited for Nintendo's offerings, other than possibly Star Fox.
Star Fox might have been what saved them from like people completely hating them.
This is true. Star Fox did, I think, make it save it from being the worst thing ever. But I think Nintendo had the worst press event out of any of the conferences. It was, in my opinion, the most disappointing thing ever. I guess let's kind of start wrapping this up a bit. So, all in all, what did you guys think about this year's E3? What are you most excited about? What completely flopped for you? Let's kind of just go down the line one by one. Drew.
Holy shit, Bethesda. Seriously, that was the only conference that I watched live, and that was the only I really kind of cared about. They're like Fallout, the fact that was actually coming and totally not a hoax this time, all sorts of down with, and was not even expecting Doom. In Doom, what they showed was exactly what I wanted in a new Doom. And Dishonored, ah, God. Everything else just sucks in comparison. I'm sorry.
All right. What do you think bombed for you, Drew? What was the worst announcement or something that you just ruined things for you?
I gotta say, man, Nintendo. It's like I would the fact that I have such a history with Nintendo and I want to be stoked about them. I don't care anymore. I wish I cared, but I don't care anymore.
That's completely fair. David, how about you?
I mean, I suppose I'm excited about the Final Fantasy VII Remake, but, I mean, the good Final Fantasy VII Remake, Kingdom Hearts 3, Star Fox Zero, and Dishonored 2. Bad, EA's still a company, Star Fox ships turn into little chicken walkers, and what the hell was up with the Muppets?
Yeah, seriously, the Muppets were weird. Like, when one of the interludes was just like the Muppet Iwata holding bananas and slowly turning to look at the camera.
Like,
Did anybody actually watch the PC conference?
I did. It was interesting. It was hosted by Day 9, and it was more of like a talk show interview segment than like a proper press conference, which I found really interesting.
Yeah, I actually like kind of had to. I fell asleep towards the last part of it because it was getting so long.
Yes. It did last for like, 3 hours, pretty much. But I was happy that they showed some really cool games. They showed Gigantic, which is a game I love. Like, I'm really excited for that.
Still not my invite.
Speaking of which, we have a segue to the new Radeon cards dropping this week.
Yes, Drew. Let's finish the best of E3.
Yeah, I'll get into it. Just
yeah.
Deborah, best of E3, worst of E3.
I would say best is still always going to be Bethesda, I'm sorry. Because you get Fallout and you have Dishonored. Those are the two games I'm the most excited for. Ubisoft was pretty good, and I guess the worst would have to be, like you said, Nintendo. Didn't really give us anything to be hyped up for, so...
Well, I will say I forgot that Fire Emblem Fates finally got a subtitle and we were hearing more about it, which I was initially excited for, but as more news has come out about it, it's just keeps disappointing me. I'm like one of the 8 people in popular gaming who care about Fire Emblem.
Yeah. How about you, Sam? Best and worst of E3?
Dark Souls 3, buddy? Dude, okay, well, I have to say, I'm a little bit biased, but I'm a vehement fan of the Souls series, and I'm just excited for this release so soon after Bloodborne. And the worst, I'd have to say, Oculus kind of disappointed me. Well, it was their pre-E3, but I guess I'd have to combine Oculus and Microsoft because it seems like they're just jerking each other off a little bit to sell products rather than focusing on
Brought to you by Facebook. Thank you, Mark Zuckerberg.
Right. It's not a big deal, but
I got you, man. I got you.
Honestly, for me, I think best thing I loved Sony's new IPs like that they announced. New Zero Horizon, whatever that is, looks actually really interesting to me. And Bethesda, as fucking everyone said.
Fallout 4,
Fallout 4, Fallout 4.
Yeah, but Bethesda fucking killed it for me. Like, they did so good.
This was their first, so they did pretty good for their first.
Yes, they fucking killed it for their first. Also, worst for me, honestly, God, as I said before, is Nintendo. They just bombed, in my opinion. Like, Star Fox looks good, but pretty much everything else they showed just fell flat. I don't want it.
Do not want.
Do not want the new Metroid. But let's go into some other news outside of E3. Drew, you mentioned a new AMD card dropping.
Okay, so the latest revision of the AMD cards have just dropped. The R9 390X, 390, 380, and 370. So this is something that everybody's kind of been waiting for a while because the Titan and the NVIDIA 980 Ti, their like super hardcore version, just dropped. AMD has kind of been lagging the past couple of years, so the latest Radeon cards have just dropped, and they've been kind of underwhelming. You get what they're kind of do, well, especially with the 390X. The 390X has got an 8 gigabyte gaming memory buffer on it, which is great. The fact that a lot of like the new games have shitloads of textures and other shit to load onto the GPU, and it actually has the memory space to deal with them now. But if you look on like Tom's Hardware's got a really nice review of basically like the new cards versus like the latest 980 Ti WinForce, the latest 980 from like MSI Gigabyte, and they're pretty much, it's basically like the new 390. The only one I'm really going to talk about is the 390X, as that's like the top tier that they got right now. The 390X is coming in right between a 970 from NVIDIA and an R9 290X water cooled. Come on, AMD, seriously.
So what you're saying is they're releasing nerfed cards.
Like,
No, they're not nerfed, but the deal with the new 3X series is that they're using the same architecture as the 2X series. So it's a refresh of the Hawaii GPU standard. So we're not getting a new chip, we're not getting a shrink. It's just basically the best of the old shit, rehashed and put into a new card, rebranded, and sold again. We're still waiting on the Fury series, which is basically the successor to the 290X. That hasn't come out yet, and that's supposed to be like the Titan competitor, or the 980 competitor. I am so disappointed in AMD for releasing these. Although we have not seen the reference cards yet. These are the only ones that have come out are from MSI, Gigabyte, and I think Sapphire have come out with versions of them, but they're all kind of middle of the road in terms of high-end gaming hardware. No bueno, guys. No bueno. I mean, I got an MITX case here, so I can only fit one card. And then also, like, once DX12 drops with Windows 10 later this year, it's going to be a whole new ball game.
Yeah, I've heard some really interesting things about DX12, but yeah, that's actually like, holy shit. I want to know when the Fury comes out, and I'm kind of sad that they did that with their new rebranding, I guess.
Long story short, the 3X series dropped, so if you have an older card, it's time to grab a 2X series.
Yeah.
Like, if you get a 290X or a 290 and overclock it, you're good to go, man.
Rock on. Yeah, no, I'm just gonna keep my 290. Just keep that overclocking.
It's like, what do you got right now? You got the XFX R9 290 double dissipation. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, we're running the same hardware right now.
Yeah, I think we are. Yeah. So sorry for people in chat who aren't like hardware nerds, by the way. But yeah, this is like, yeah. I'm always looking forward to new hardware, and I kind of somewhat entrenched in AMD right now.
I mean, I like AMD just because like their stream processor count, or their stream processor per dollar is good, especially if you're doing other stuff like video encoding or you're doing anything like graphically intensive. They're generally a better bang for your buck card. But I I I like the competition between AMD and Nvidia because it'll drive the overall price down eventually. And it's just I wish that AMD would really kind of pull their heads out of their ass and just make a diesel card to really give Nvidia a run for their money. And especially since we're starting to see this fragmentation of the market where you've got like especially G-Sync, the new technology from Nvidia working with encoders in monitors to offer variable refresh rates on monitors that will sync with the GPU. So basically you can have something over 60 hertz refresh rate, so you can have a higher frame rate that will scale with your card. And then you have the AMD version, which is FreeSync. And then game developers are having to choose between one or the other. So you have a game that's not as optimized for one platform as the other platform. I want to see them both fight it out and eventually choose one standard so everybody doesn't get lost.
Yeah, that like Games Workshop thing is its own fucking mixed bag, because on the one hand, you know, it's cool they're giving tools to help developers, but it's like really forcing developers to be like, yeah, we're only really gonna like look good on Nvidia cards. Or
Well, the
only
thing with The
really-
Witcher 3 was that whole Hairworks debacle. Like, your game will run like crap if you try to run Hairworks on an AMD card.
or even a last gen Nvidia card.
Yeah, really.
So that's its own fucking bag of bullshit.
Basically, long story short, I want AMD to come out with a card that will give the Titan a run for its money. Because the Titan is just, it's a beast of a card. That thing is, like, technologically so advanced, and it just wipes the floor with everything in its path. And AMD can make a card that comes to the level of that, and I think if they have to fight it out, it's going to drive the price down. Because right now, AMD, with these new 3X series cards, they're really shooting for the mid-range of the market, like especially like the 370. Like, if you got a 270, and the 370 is not that bad right now.
Yeah, no,
Or a 380. And anything like 2X series and above, like, you're good to go for DX12. And once DX12 drops, like, with Windows 10, oh yeah, if you haven't done it already, definitely lock into your free upgrade to Windows 10 from either 7, 8, or 8.1, because that comes with DX12.
Yeah, no, I think I'm gonna have to do that. I've been looking for the little thing that'll allow me to do it. Like I don't know. It's on my laptop, or at least a little program that's telling me to upgrade. It's not on my desktop yet, but I think I'm gonna be doing that soon because I hear there are performance boosts. Boost to the Max, by the way, wants to know: are we stoked for Dark Souls 3?
Yes.
Well,
I
think
Fucking
we
A,
know why.
Bubba.
I honestly God don't know anyone who isn't like, yeah, Dark Souls 3. I'm gonna die so many times. Just.
Yeah, boots to the max. Steve needs to update his computer. He's running some ghetto shit over.
Dude, I got some fucking crazy shit. I need like a fresh install ASAP.
You do. He's got viruses. He's got the deals. He needs driver updates.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. But all right, you know what? This show's been going on for
Hour
God.
and a half.
about an hour and a half. So you know what? Let's call it here. Thank you guys for participating. For everyone watching again, I'm Steven for the Armed Gamer. I'm kind of the owner and editor in chief. This
No,
is
you are the owner. You own it. You're not kind of. You own it.
I'm the owner. I'm the editor in chief. This was What's Brewing, which is our weekly Horizon or weekly writer podcast. God, I'm just
You
Tired.
really want those cavemen and robot dinosaurs.
really, God, I do. Ugh. But yes, this is our weekly writer podcast. With me today was my web developer Drew,
Yo.
as well as one of our regular writers David,
No.
and our latest writer who is Sam Collett.
Hi.
Haha! Also was the editor who, honest to God, I am so thankful to her for helping me out with this all the time, Deborah Crocker.
Goodbye.
Okay, excellent. And every show has a sign-off. I don't know what this one's is yet, but thank you all for watching.
This is our gamer signing off.
It really has to be something brew related.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Drink beer.
More beer.